Welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha and today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 success secrets. Well, more like 10 rules of success. So let's get right into it. So by the very fact that you're watching this video, I know that you are definitely somebody who needs money, who uses money, or who at least wants to be rich and wealthy, to build generational wealth. Wealth is your ability to influence others. And it is exactly this thing, influence, that leads you to having money. The number of people that you influence in your life equals to the amount of money that you have in your bank account. Believe it or not, there are people in your life that you have influence over who no president, no millionaire, no billionaire will ever have influence over. How many people's lives are you impacting? Are you dreaming big enough, or are you setting yourself up in a way that will allow you to have impact, such a positive impact on people's lives, that will then result in you being a millionaire, possibly a billionaire? That's really what we want to be talking about, real positive influence. I may never meet Bill Gates, but he's had such a positive impact in my life just by him doing what he was doing in his garage and developing Microsoft. So just him doing that has led to such a great impact. Like even social media now, for us to have social media influencers, it goes back to the software that we are using. We needed to have gone through the computers and the PCs and all of this to get to where we are now. So we could easily even look at Bill Gates and compare him with the biggest charity organizations and compare their influence. Yes, charity organizations are good, they're helping people, but the impact that this other company has had, that allows us to do our work, that allows us to make YouTube videos, go on a computer, edit those videos and publish that content. So I hope that this example really paints a picture for you to understand what we mean by influence. So when somebody like Bill Gates is going and is being a millionaire, and excuse me, so when somebody like Bill Gates is then a billionaire, we often forget or neglect the process, the road that he's gone through to getting to where he is. But it's a level of impact that he has imparted to his generation, and actually generations to come. So we want to now look at what are these influence factors and how can you build your influence to the point that you can develop a billion-dollar enterprise that's so far reaching that you may never even know the people whose lives you've touched. That's so far reaching that you may never even understand the depth of the influence that you have. That's the kind of reach that we're talking about. So here's what you and I need to do to extend our reach to the far ends of the world. So rule number 1 to building our influence is developing an honorable character. Our word is our greatest currency. You have to learn to say what you mean and mean what you say. You have to follow through on your word. You have to earn a reputation. You cannot ask people to trust you. You have to earn it. And this comes through you consistently acting on your word. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. Even to your own hurt. Like, it has to be one of those things that if I say something, it's the truth and I mean it, I'm going to follow through with it. Of course, there will be times where things are beyond your control and you may not be able to make it on that appointment exactly at the time that you said you'd be there, but you always have an opportunity to communicate and let people know that you're held up, or if there's any change of plans, there are always ways that you can redeem yourself and ways that you can prove yourself to be a person of honor. So there's absolutely no excuse to not being a person of honor and being a person of value, because that is what people will associate with you. So whether you are building a company or yourself as a brand, people have to at least trust you and to trust your word. And this is the very essence, the very foundation of how you can build a brand and a company. And it will influence the depth and the type of relationships that you're going to have around you. And rule number 2 is to build relationships and be a team player. So I know we don't all have the same religious beliefs, but we all pray. One time or another, we're praying for something that we want to see happen in our lives. And oftentimes, those prayers are answered through people, through the people around us or through the relationships that work for us. So we have to absolutely build good relationships and be a team player. You're definitely not going to be able to do everything on your own. So you need to be able to call on certain people who may be more skilled in certain areas than you are. So you got to be able to ask for help and don't be afraid to do so, because you can't do everything on your own. And rule number 3 is to take action. You got to be bold and courageous. Yes, you may fall, you may get it wrong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, a million times. But even a righteous man falls 7 times, but still he gets up. The trick is just to get up and keep going. Rule number 4 to building your influence is realizing that it's not all about you. The more people whose lives you make comfortable and convenient, the more influence you are going to have. Rule number 5 is don't skip any steps and don't cut any corners. Guys, you do not harvest the same day that you plant a seed. So in the same way, you're not going to be able to come from 0 to a million in no time at all. So there are steps, and success is not so much a destination as it is a continuous process of living out your purpose. And when you're living out on purpose and meaningfully, you'll find such a satisfaction in serving others. So don't cut any corners, because definitely it always comes back to you. It always comes back to you. And rule number 6 is to have a sound and objective springboard. I was tempted to say mentor, but it's not always that the person that you look up to, your role model, wants to be your mentor. So just have somebody at least in your life, somebody who has experience, somebody who's willing and able to be honest with you and give you sound advice and sound counsel when you need it. Rule number 7 is to automate. Focus on creating systems and networks that can help people without you physically doing all the heavy work on your own, because you can't really be everywhere at the same time, which is why we're talking about developing systems and networks that will help people. If we look at it from an entrepreneurial point of view, we can talk about scaling your business, automating your systems so that you can build passive income while you're sleeping and making money. So basically that's it. We're talking about developing systems and networks that will work even in your absence. Rule number 8 is to think long term. I've done a video pretty recently where I was talking about how to make better decisions. And in this video, the bottom line of the strategy to making better decisions really is that you have to think with the end in mind, or begin with the end in mind. So when you have this long-term vision of where you want to go, or the kind of process that you want to be developing, whether it's a personal brand, whatever it is, when you think long-term, it actually helps you in your everyday decisions. It will help you in seemingly trivial decisions that need to be made, and it goes a long way. It goes a long way in the influence that you're going to have. Rule number 9 is be willing to learn and unlearn some things. I think it's easier to learn than it is to unlearn certain things that you've lived with. Years, decades of a way of thinking and a way of doing things that can really be like a stumbling block. It can be a hindrance to you actually doing things differently and getting different results. So be willing to unlearn some things, because nobody knows everything. So if you're not liking the results that you're getting at a particular time, you have an opportunity to do things differently and get different results. And rule number 10 is about numbers. It's not about the number of followers that you have on your Instagram, on Facebook, etc. That measures your level of success or your influence. Do you know, you may have thought about this or not, but anyway, the people who are actually running the governments, we have presidents, but there are people who are more influential than the presidents, who are behind the presidents. And it's not every president's decision that's their own, but there are people who are influencing them to make certain decisions. That's what we're talking about. And these people are people we may not even know. They may just be people who are really rich financially and are able to assist in whatever needs to be done. And they might just be other people whose word is valued, whose opinion and advice and counsel is valued by presidents and heads of state. So this is really it. So don't always use the number of followers, subscribers, everything to measure your level of influence. And as I've said before, it comes down to living purposefully. And we find deep meaning and purpose in our lives when we serve others. Guaranteed. Try it if you haven't tried it before. When you tie your life to helping somebody else, there is no other satisfaction that you can get that's greater than that. So it's not all about you, as much as you may then enjoy the financial benefit of influencing people and having such a great influence that your decisions or that your thoughts matter so much that a head of state, a president, a prime minister would want to implement your very thought. It's not always just about the money. But our influence has to be far-reaching and is also to transcend through generations. That's what we want to do. So I hope you have found value in this video. And if you have, please give it a thumbs up. That's how I know that you've liked it. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and feedback in the comment section below. I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next video. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I pull out new videos. It's bye-bye for now, and I will see you on the next one.